Do you constantly apologize when you really shouldn't? For example, I'm so sorry, let me get out of your way. Or I'm so sorry, can I just have some sugar with the coffee? This is something I noticed, and we're going to talk about it. The What's Eating You podcast is a series of mental health topics that are designed to make you think, learn, educate, and validate. Enjoy the show. Welcome to another episode on the What is Eating You podcast. It is Freestyle Friday and I'm your resident host and psychologist, Stephanie. And I'm here today based on a little personal experience to talk about over-apologizing and saying sorry. I noticed this because I was flying over the weekend. I flew to Melbourne, and when I go on a plane, I often order a cup of boiling water because I like to take my own sachets of coffee before you speak. Absolute fave. Use the discount code MindFoodSteph if you want to try it. And when I ask for this, I feel bad sometimes because they have to go to the back of the plane, they have to get the water, but then I'm like, no, Steph, this is part of the job. They asked you if you wanted anything, if they can get you anything. But I think the issue is when they're bringing the cart around, it's something they need to remember to bring back to you because on a lot of occasions they have forgotten and I've had to remind them. And I think it is a little bit of an inconvenience because maybe they have to go back to the end of the plane. And because of that, now when I ask for it, it's almost like I preface my request with I'm so sorry, but can I get a cup of water? And then when they brought it, I'm so sorry, can I just get a stirrer? And I'm thinking, why am I saying sorry? And then I noticed there are people who over-apologize. I have someone in mind I can think of who would always over-apologize. Sorry, or when they walk in, sorry. And I'm thinking, what just happened? Nothing happened. What are you apologizing for? If this is you, rest assured that there is solutions and you can stop being an over-apologizer. But let's first talk about the reasons why some people over-apologize. The first reason is low self-esteem. Often people, subconscious or consciously, may feel they're not good enough. And because of that, you may apologize to seek approval from others. When you say, I'm sorry that these cookies I'm giving you aren't perfect, and the other person says, no, oh my gosh, they're great, don't even worry about it. This behavior is a form of reassurance seeking that can become kind of addictive. It's almost something you do in anxiety, or you do in anxiety to neutralize your anxiety or make it less severe, and it's called reassurance seeking. So it's essentially getting reassurance from another person that you are okay or you are enough or something bad isn't going to happen. Short term, it's a band-aid fix. It may relieve your anxiety short term, similarly to washing your hands if you have contamination OCD. Short term, it neutralizes or reduces the anxiety, but long term, unfortunately, it perpetuates it. So it's an attempt to bolster up your own doubts by seeking validation from others. It might feel relieving in the short term, but only internal validation is sustainable in the long run. So only I can say, Steph, you can order a cup of boiling water on a plane and not feel bad about it because that's the job. And if you were there and someone asked you for that, you would gladly do it for them. So I need to stop assuming what people are thinking. Perhaps they're worried they might forget it, and that's why they're a little bit frantic when I ask. So it's up to me to reassure myself that it is okay to ask for this and not over-apologize for it. The second reason people may over-apologize is to avoid conflict. You may apologize preemptively to try tone down any anger or disagreements. And again, while this may work in the short run, it's going to lead to poor communication, resentment, lack of good ideas being shared, lack of clarity, and more problems in the long run. So, for example, maybe someone asked, oh, hey, I noticed you left the dishes out. What happened? Oh, I'm so sorry. It'll never happen again. La la la. Instead of saying, you know what? I was actually really busy. If you can help, if you see them lying around, that would be really awesome. The third reason people over-apologize is avoiding vulnerability. In some strange way, apologizing is a defense mechanism. It's an attempt to avoid being disappointed if you assert your needs and get told no. This is a really interesting one. So almost like apologizing is keeping you safe from potentially being rejected or disappointed if the person cannot meet that need. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. Would I be able to get this? No, I'm really sorry. We've run out. Not too sure, but that is one reason. The next reason people may over-apologize is people-pleasing. We have all heard about people-pleasing and these types of tendencies. So some people may apologize excessively because they want to be liked and to avoid upsetting others. It's founded on the faulty mindset that you should never impose on people. Other people's needs are more important than your own. So for example, I spoke to someone the other day and they said when they go over to someone's house, they never ask or say yes to a drink of water or a snack or a cake because growing up, they were taught that was impolite. You should never ask or say yes. If they offer you water, say, no, I'm good. If they offer you cake, say, no, I'm good, because you don't want to be a burden. So from a young age, they were taught if they say yes or they have a glass of water that they're being burdensome on other people. So just reflect on yourself. If you tend to over-apologize, maybe you are people-pleasing. Some people may apologize excessively as a way of being polite. In some cultures, apologizing may be seen as a sign of respect and humility, while in other cultures, it may be seen as a sign of weakness or subservience. Another reason is because it's a habit that they've learned. They don't know what else to say. It could be a filler word. They may have grown up in a culture where they were taught to apologize frequently. They may have witnessed their mum or their parent apologizing frequently, and they've just learnt this habit. Researchers have found that gender also contributes, as women will often say sorry with a greater frequency than men. According to this recent study, women reported offering more apologies than men, but they also reported committing more offences. This finding suggests that men apologise less frequently than women because they have a higher threshold for what constitutes offensive behaviour. Very interesting. So you're probably wondering, well, this is me, I over-apologise. And what's very interesting is they've found over-apologising to be linked to mental health conditions such as anxiety, childhood trauma, depression, low self-esteem, obsessive-compulsive disorder, and themes of perfectionism, so perhaps even ADHD. Well, you're probably wondering, well, what can I do to stop apologising and be a recovered apologiser? The answer is fourfold. So the first one is you want to understand your triggers. Take a moment to think about situations that trigger you to apologize. It's too late to apologize. That song just came in my mind. Do you apologize more with family and friends, or is it with strangers or colleagues? For me, I noticed it is with strangers when I'm asking for a request that may be out of the norm. For example, if you're at a restaurant and I will usually say no onion, sometimes it's a bit of a kerfuffle because they have to clarify, is it in the sauce? Is it an allergy? What's going on? I'm really sorry. It's okay. I'll just eat the onion and get really sick, but that's all right. I don't want to burden anyone. And I've heard stories of like this where people are too embarrassed to ask for certain dietary requirements because of the belief that they're burdening people. But what are the situations that trigger you? I don't notice I do it with family and friends, but if I'm in a situation where I think, oh, this is a bit of an extreme request, then I think that's mine. What are yours? What is it that really stimulates you to apologize frequently? And write this down in a journal or jot it down in your phone. Remember, awareness precedes change. So you have to become aware of your behavior before you can change it. 2, pause and reflect before responding. I actually did this. If you feel you might begin to say, I'm sorry for something that is not your fault, try to slow yourself down, pause, and take a break. This is when I noticed it. When I was on the plane, I knew I was about to say, oh, I'm so sorry, can I get a stirrer? But it was funny because he actually walked past me and gave me this look, oh, that's the lady that ordered the glass of water that I forgot about. And I didn't pay attention. I just said, by the way, can I just get a stirrer as well? So he had the perception that I didn't know he forgot. then he just thought I was asking for a stirrer. So I knew I was going to say, sorry, can I please get a stirrer? But instead I just said, oh, by the way, can I please get a stirrer as well? So notice when you're about to say sorry, take a deep breath and reframe your request. Which brings me to number 3, rephrase your response. Often an apology can actually be rephrased and turned into a statement of gratitude instead. For example, you can try saying something like, thank you so much for bringing that. I know it was at the back of the plane, for example, or thank you so much for your patience versus I'm sorry for making you wait. In a lot of emails, rather than say, I'm so sorry for the delay in getting back to you, you can say, thank you so much for your patience. So replacing gratitude with an apology can be a really effective tool, not only in your personal life, but in your professional life as well. And the last one is part of this learning is about being more assertive. So I want to remind you that it is okay to have opinions. It is okay to have requests. It is okay to ask for no onion in your meal at a restaurant. Use I statements to express your feelings and needs rather than apologizing for them. Stand up for yourself and say no when appropriate. And practice this. Practice your affirmations. Say things such as, I am worthy and deserving of respect. So let's do a practical exercise together. The first thought, the first situation, your boyfriend wants to use the table and you're studying on it. Sorry, my stuff is on the table. Let me move that out the way for you. So that's a negative response or an apologizing response. A neutral response would be, thanks for making space for my stuff on the table. And an assertive response would be, I need some space on the table for my stuff. Could you slide down? Being more assertive can feel really uncomfortable at first, especially for someone who has been really passive or submissive to you in the past. But true, honest, deep and real relationships require people to be willing to give and make requests. Remember, assertiveness isn't about being bossy or rude. It's just about communicating your needs in a way that's direct. A one-sided, self-sacrificing relationship just isn't healthy. Next example, apologetic version. Someone holds the door for you. Oh, I'm so sorry to make you wait and hold the door, right? Whereas a neutral one could be, thanks so much for holding the door. An assertive response would be, thanks for holding the door. Would you mind pushing number 15 if you're going up a lift or something like that? See the difference? So here's the last one. I actually messed up. I'm so sorry. I'm such a screw up. I'm the worst ever. Notice how this makes it all about you and it doesn't make anyone feel better. A neutral response could just be, I messed up, I apologize. Whereas an assertive response could be, I messed up, how can I fix this or make it better next time? So you're still taking responsibility, but in a different way. So know that you really can learn to stop over-apologizing, and you don't have to over-apologize. By practicing assertiveness and not over-apologizing, you assert your own needs and you build healthier, more functional relationship, not only with others, but also yourself. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. If you have, please leave a review or a rating. I would love to see them. Have the best weekend, and I'll see you in the next episode.